Alright. We are live, my dudes. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. It is Thursday, February 15th. Hope you had a nice little Valentine's Day dinner or whatever, if you had any. I know I didn't have anything, but yeah, if you had anything, nice. But hey, we're here to talk about DAWs. No, DAWs. Now, this will be a short little stream, maybe an hour 15. I have to go at like 10:30 max, because I've got an interview at a local Tim Hortons. It is not the first interview I have there, it's the second. Because basically before we get into all this mess, basically I went there like at 2 a.m. I don't remember when exactly, but yeah, I went there. And I was just like, hey, why not ask them again? Even, if I tried a billion times. Like, hey dude, just wondering like that, you guys looking for anyone, like any position? I don't give a fuck, I'm just looking for a job. And he was like, well, yeah, someone just left, like 2 days ago. I was like, oh shit, what up, boy? And, I asked them, okay, well, what's the position? Because I've worked at a Tim Hortons in the past. And, I was a night shift baker on weekends. He was like, well, that's exactly the position. The person that left, they were night shift baker on weekends. I was like, ooh, well, I'm definitely interested. And they told me, come tomorrow, my boss will be there like from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. I was like, all right, sure. And, went there the next day. And, asked them like, hey, I came here yesterday and they told me, I could talk to you real quick. Apparently you're looking for a night shift baker on weekends. They were like, yeah, absolutely. So I'll join you like in a couple of minutes. Filed the fucking paper they have in the restaurant and gave my resume. Talk for a couple of minutes, because they knew that I was coming. And they were like, all right, well, I see that you were working there as a night shift baker as well as that's the position we're looking for, blah, blah, blah. What did you do exactly, blah, 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 how long have you worked there, etc., etc. And, what are your availabilities? I was like, I'm free all the fucking time, my dude. And, yeah, so they told me, yeah, we're definitely gonna call you back soon, because we're looking for a fucking night shift baker on weekends. And they called me the next day, like, hey, yo, we are definitely interested, so come see us again Thursday. 11 a.m. We're going to talk to you again. So see you there. So that's why I'm going to have to make it short. Hopefully it goes well, because the last time, 2 years ago when I worked at a Tim Hortons, I've had a couple of interviews there. And, it was always, oh, hell yeah. And fucking... whenever I gave my resume or whatever, asked them like if they had any positions, it'd be like, not really for the moment, so give us your resume and file that paper there, and we're gonna call you back if we need anyone. And that was that. And the one time I got hired there, it was like, okay, you seem genuine, you seem to be wanting to work, and we're definitely interested because we need someone, so yeah, we're gonna contact you soon. If you're selected. And like 2 or 3 days later they were like, yeah, you're pretty much gonna come here, but we just need to make a second interview like real quick, just to, I don't know why, but they told me like, hey, second interview next week, blah blah blah. I was like, all right, sure. I thought it would have been like more questions, more details or whatever, but no, it was like, all right, so would you be willing to start like in 3 days? I was like, yeah, sure. And so, yeah, I hope that it goes the same way. If it does, God bless. Because normally, the one that I used to work at, basically, night shift, there was one person in front, and blah blah blah. Exactly. We were two. There was one person in front, and I was in the back making my donuts and shit. And fucking, I had to still take orders because sometimes there was just too many people ordering stuff, whether it was like the drive-through or the fucking inside. So I had to take orders, which was the part that I hated the most. But in this case, there's already two people in the front and only one in the back doing their shit. They don't even have to go in front. They don't even have to wear that little headset thing. I was like, yo, are you fucking serious? Hell yeah, dude. Sign me the fuck up. And apparently you can even have a speaker with your music playing. I was like, ooh, shit, boy. So yeah, I hope for the best now. It's been almost 10 minutes, so fuck this. Let's get this started with DAWs. And how do they work? What magic can they do? What can they provide us? Now, I'm using Adobe Audition, which is not very used, I'd say, for music production. It's mostly for video editing, because you can have like a video and you can edit the audio with it next to it and have like your screen there and the audio there. But it is an amazing tool. It works great. If you already have the Adobe suite, fucking look at it. It's really great once you get used to it. Other than that, you know, there's Reaper, there's FL Studio, there's Pro Tools, there's fucking Studio One. There's a billion of DAWs out there. So choose the one of your likings. I happen to like Adobe Audition. Been using it for a couple of years now, and it works great. If you don't know where to start, what DAW to get, etc., etc., try some trial versions of all the different DAWs you're interested in. But the one I highly suggest is Reaper. Now, I don't use it. I know a bunch of my friends use it, and I've messed around with it a couple times, and it's really a great working tool. It's free. Jesus Christ, they're invading. They're fucking invading. These people in chat, they're not just strangers. They are people that I know that I'm gonna see in a couple hours. I'm gonna roast their asses. Anyways, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so Reaper is really a great tool. It's free. You can buy it though for $60. There's nothing different. God damn it. Yeah, so it's free, and you know it says you have a trial for 14 days, but it's forever. If you want to buy it, it's $60, and there's like a bigger version that's like $200, I think. I'm not sure. But it's free forever if you make less than a certain amount per year in terms of your music, blah blah blah. You don't have to pay for the $60, because when you pay for $60, you get a license that, you know, gives you permission to sell your music while using Reaper. So if you know you think you're gonna make more than that amount, I don't remember that amount, but it's like in the thousands of dollars. So if you think you're gonna make more than that, be sure to check it out and buy the $60 version, because you keep it forever and the updates are free. So yeah. But all DAWs, I hope so. They all do. They come down to the same things. You know, we're gonna talk about bus tracks. We're gonna talk about sends. We're gonna talk about effects. You know, compression, stuff like that. Different VSTs, thousands of dollars. Oh hell yeah. You know, just basic things, routing and stuff like that. That almost, I'm pretty sure every single DAW has them, except for Audacity. But Audacity is garbage. Don't use it unless it's for just recording like your voice, and you don't have, like, if it's at a computer at school or whatever, just get Audacity, record there, and transfer your file on Dropbox or whatever. But yeah, we're gonna see the basics of every DAW because it all comes down to the same things. Now, we're gonna start talking about, you know, the different kinds of tracks there are normally in every DAW. So you can see here that I have some tracks that are yellow and the others are gray. So here we are. The name, this is just a regular track, so you can set it for stereo, mono, whatever. Keep it stereo unless you really have something that's mono. Just keep it stereo. I keep it stereo all the time. And these yellow tracks are Christ. These yellow tracks are called bus tracks. I thank Cyril the Wolf for not making me discover the bus tracks on their own, just making me understand their use. He made a video a while back. It was called Musicology 100 instead of 101, because it was really the most basic things. Go watch that if you want. It's really full of good information that I might forget to mention here, so be sure to check that out. So yeah, those yellow tracks are called bus tracks, and at the end you have master track. That's pretty much all you're gonna use, unless you're really gonna be intense and do a bunch of crazy things. But that's really all there is to it. You can use bus tracks in very different ways. I use them in 2 ways, and we're gonna talk about that in a couple of minutes. Discovered, Jesus Christ. So that's that. We're gonna talk about routing as well, because you know you have your input and output. You know, you can set it as, okay, let's say I want it set to my Focusrite input 1 and have it set to master. That's it. I'm gonna change that for master because now it's in French. It's gonna confuse everyone. So master. So yeah, routing, we're gonna start by talking about routing. And when we're gonna be done talking about routing, we're gonna be able to talk about the bus tracks. Now, there we go, okay. So your tracks, as you can see, that all those yellow tracks don't have anything in there. I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. So basically, as I just mentioned, routing, let's say we take those guitar tracks here. By the way, this is I'll Fly Higher. So yeah, you have your inputs here. Select the one that you're gonna use. So for example, my guitar is plugged into input 1 and my microphone into input 2. If I select that here and click record, boom, you can see that my microphone is active. The R button is to arm. Do not forget to have that button on when you want to record. Arm that track, because if you don't and you start recording and 3 minutes later you realize, oh shit, it wasn't recording, you're gonna be pissed. I've made that mistake several times, and sometimes it slips and I forget to do it. So yeah, set it to whatever input you're gonna use, and this is your output. So most of the times, 99% more, yeah, I'd say 75% of the time is gonna be master. So basically, if you had it physically, for example, you'd have, let's say, a cable from your microphone to your mixer. See it as like a mixer. I'm gonna try to grab a picture. Because I have a small Mackie mixer here, but it's 8 input, so it's not really useful. And it's not with the faders, it's with rotating faders instead of these things. So let's say the one that we have at college. It's really your typical Mackie mixer. 16 inputs, where's the good image? Hey, there we go. Crap. Oh, there we go. All right. So, if it could zoom in, please. What's the... 500. Jesus Christ. Whew. Okay, let's go with this one. Fuck it. Okay. So basically, it's the exact same thing than this. These faders are here, and let's say this top thing here would be that. So let's say, okay, I choose... Whoops. Get back here, you fucker. So let's say, okay, this is my input 1, and I want it to go in this. Now you don't have anything else to do. Let's say master is your main speakers. For some people, for those of you who've never touched the mixer, don't worry about it. It's just to be visual, in case some people have used mixers in the past. So it's as if your main mix was basically your main speakers, and this thing would be your main speaker. So you send it to your main speakers, and that's pretty much all there is to it. That's basic routing. Now, you could decide to send it to master, or you could decide to send it to those bus tracks that we mentioned here. So the use of bus tracks is basically, as you can see, I'm going to slide it there. These two things, this and that, do almost the same job, but this is like a sub-master, basically. So you can send things in here as if it was this, but then this would go in there. It's really abstract right now, but when we're gonna use it and I'm gonna show you what you can do with it, it's gonna be clearer. And of course, I'm not the best person to explain all that stuff, so you can go ahead and watch some tutorials if it's not clear afterwards. But let's say all these were going to master. Master, 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 master. All right. Let me just see. All right. So we're going to solo all these tracks here, which are the drum tracks. So if we hit play, let me just see if the volume is loud enough. Okay, definitely. All right, all right. So there's that, okay? This is going basically directly to the master track. You can see here there's nothing going on. If I hit play again, there's nothing going on. Now, I'm going to change that to drums. 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 We're getting there. Drums. Drums. There we go. Now watch here. As you can see now, this little button says it's soloed. Before then, it wasn't lit. It was just there. If I hit play, now there's something going on. And did you notice that there's more reverb now? So that's one use of, and also it's a bit louder. So if I mute this, okay, yeah, we're going to talk about it later. So it's basically as if you send that to a master and then that master went to another master. So basically, instead of having, for example, all those drum tracks, sure, they all have compression and an EQ, but all of those together, you know, it'd feel like they'd be separated and not really... blah, blah, blah. Sorry, there's some people talking to me. Shit. Okay. Yeah, so, you know, maybe that compression is okay, but you feel like the drums are all over the place and you want to have them controlled and not all over the place. You create a bus track, send all your drum tracks, set the output to your drum bus track, and have whatever you want in that track. So yeah, I have a compression and a hard limiter to keep things under control. And that's one use of a bus track. So, and the other use, we're gonna get to it. And so same thing for vocals. I have that going on. So, you know, there's compression, and a general EQ, a general compression, and chorus. Because I could have all those three in each track, but that's gonna destroy your RAM. You're just not gonna be able to do anything, and you're not gonna be able to, you know, have this kind of playback. It's gonna be all over the place. Kind of like when I stream, sometimes it cuts here and there. That's what you're gonna hear all the time. So it's gonna save you RAM, and you're gonna be able to listen to play things back and listen to things clearly instead of having cuts here and there. That's one use of bus tracks, is to use them as submasters to send them to your master track. Now these three guys here, or girls, or whatever, these three things, they are effects bus tracks. Why, you might ask? You see those little things here that have a bunch of knobs, you know, -15, all that stuff? Those are called sends. Sends are used. Did I close the frickin' picture? I hope not. Crap. Well then, let me open that back up. Thank you. So you can see here, you know, the aux, all those four knobs there. It's basically the same thing than these things right there. And the master send and etc. is those three things right there. And so instead of, for example, again, having all the same thing than compression and all that stuff on every single track, instead of having reverb on all the tracks that use reverb, so this, etc., etc., this will destroy your RAM once again. Instead of having all the tracks with reverb, you'd have one track with reverb, general reverb that you're going to use. And of course, if you want different types of reverb, for example, I wanted a different type of reverb for the drums, so I made one for that. And I made one for the general reverb and delay. So yeah, instead of, so you send those in here. Now the difference between a send and the output is very simple. We're gonna take, yeah, we're gonna use the vocals for that. So let me get rid of all that. So none. So we're gonna, instead of, we're gonna do like we did with those tracks. We're gonna send this to reverb. Now we're gonna listen to just the vocals. And then we're gonna switch it to the sends. So listen to this.
Some people call me little, some people call me small.
And we're gonna drop it. This is what happens, basically. Sure, you can control like.
But believe me when I tell you I'll be the one that rules this town. But they all say no, and they say you can't go. But I won't let them.
You could use it this way, it's okay if you want to, but the easiest way would be to use it as sends, as if you would use a physical mixer. So we're going to switch that back to master. This is reverb and this is delay. Now we're going to mute the delay for now. And so reverb, once again.
Some people call me little, some people call me small, but given the chance I'll ride.
See the difference? Now here's where you can control things, because basically when you use the output of whatever track to a bus, it goes in there and that's it. It goes in there 100% and that's your track. Where the sends come in is, I'm going to drag this to -infinite, so it's not there. And we're going to hit play, and I'm gonna bring it back up. Oh wait, it sets itself to -18. Whoops. Oopsie doopsie. Let me get rid of all of this things. Goodbye. Thank you. Alright, so it's -infinity, and I'm gonna bring it back here and there. So
some people call me little, some people call me small, but given the chance I'll rise up and stand above them all.
So basically, when you use it as like just send the output to reverb, it's as if this thing was set to 0, and you can't control anything aside from the reverb itself. So when you do that,
some people call me little, some people call me small, but given
you can decide to have it not there, a little bit, or a lot of reverb. And that's very cool. And here, I think most DAWs have that feature, but if they don't, it's really weird. But here is basically what you ask the fader, whatever you use here. So okay, show envelopes. The envelopes is this thing, the line I'm dragging. So for example, I don't want reverb on that section.
Some people call me little, some people call me small,
but at this part I want reverb. So I could decide, okay, I want you to get up right there for this section. So you can go like that.
Some people call me little, some people
watch it go
call
up.
me small, but given the chance I'll rise up and stand above them all.
There you go. So that's the magic use of sends. So instead of using the output, you just use the send, and there you go. You can control the amount, and you can change it. As you can see here, I changed it at the end of the song. There we go. So if we take a listen over here, and this is the volume, the whole fader thing. You can see, look over here, when it starts going down, this will go down as well. It goes down.
I'll flap my wings and get off of the floor. I'll fly higher than ever before. Wind in my hair as I start to soar. Wind in my hair as I start to soar. Watch me soar.
And it starts going down. And there you go. That's why I used it, because if we listen to the beginning of the song, right there. Crap. Oh, there we go.
Some people call me.
There's not a lot of reverb, whereas the end, there's a lot of reverb. And that's the fun use of sends. You can decide to change it whenever you want. Whereas, you know, your output, it's there. That's it. You can't do anything about it. Unless you decide, of course, let's say, oh, I use it as an output. You decide, okay, I want to change this. You can do it, but it's way simpler to do it the way I just did. So you can do that for all the effects you're using. So reverb, well, use it mostly for reverb and delay, instead of having like one reverb for each single track. That's going to cause you a lot of problems. And it's just going to be long to set them all up. And if you want to pre-render all those tracks just like I'm doing, it's going to take a while. And if you want to change, oh, let's say, oh, there's too much reverb now. Well, you got to change it and pre-render your track. Whereas this, you can change whenever you want, and it won't be a problem. So, this is for routing and bus tracks. You can decide to have multiple. I don't know what's the maximum for this. 16. You have up to 16 sends. So you could have like 3 different reverbs, 3 different delays, 3 different vocoder, 3 different whatever the hell you want, really. And that's really cool to use. So for example, why do I have the drums reverb here and 4 tracks over here, but not the rest of the three. Now, let's listen to the drums again on their own. And I'm gonna remove the 4 on their own with the drums reverb on the sends. And then I'm gonna add them gradually. Well, without any reverb at all. First, and then we're gonna add it. Now, there's natural reverb due to the room mic. I'm gonna just not solo it for a little bit. Room mic adds natural reverb, so that's cool. If you want it, you can, you know, have it lower. But yeah, so we're gonna add the drums reverb on the bus track only, and then we're gonna switch. We're gonna remove the reverb on the sends on the bus track and add the 4, and then all of them together. So here's that. So here's with and without. Now I'm gonna switch and bring them all up over here without the drums reverb. Well, the drums bus track. Okay, and now here's with the bus tracks sends. And we can mute it right there. I admit that might be a little too much. But then again, you can change it whenever the hell you want. Just click here and let's say yeah, that'd be nice. And there you go. So you have your reverb for your drums. Now we can do the same thing for vocals. But in that case, it's way more simpler because there's only one thing going on. So here's without.
Call me little, some people call me small.
And with.
But given the chance, I'll rise up and stand above them
Again,
all.
a little bit too much reverb. You can turn that down right there.
Call me little, some people call me small. But given the chance, I'll rise up and stand above them all.
And the same thing for delay. So we're gonna just remove the reverb here so we can hear it clearly.
Call me little, some people call me small, but given the chance.
Oh, and for delay, here's a trick, especially if you're using this one. If you have it set here to sync, you know, it says 1/4 here, and if you drag it, it goes, well, you can only drag it there and have it in fractions. This is 1/4, so 1/4 note. And you could have it 1/6 of a note, blah, 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 etc., etc. 1 whole note, 1/2 note, etc. If you don't, be sure to have a time. There's a chart out there. You just Google tempo, BPM, delay, or whatever, and there's a whole chart with like if your song is 193 BPM, this is 1/4 note for the delay, 1/8 note, etc., etc. But if you have it sync, be sure that your DAW has the correct tempo. For example, this song is 90 BPM, and we have the delay synced at 1/4 note, 1/4 note, 1/4 note, and there you go. So you're gonna hear the beat coming. I'm just gonna have the kick here, just so you can hear the beat.
Call me little, some people call me small, but given the chance, I'll rise up and stand above them all. Some people put me down, some.
And let me just exaggerate it so you can really hear the beat going on. So.
Call me little, some people call me small, but given the chance, I'll rise up and stand above them all. Some people put me down, some people kick me around.
And if you have it set to a different, let's say you forget to change it, and I don't know, it's at 135, for example. Let's listen again.
Call me little, some people call me small, but given the chance I'll rise up and stand above them all. Some people put me down, some people kick me around, but believe me when I tell you I'll be...
It's weird, and if you use your delay correctly and you don't hear it too much, sure, that can go, but if it's really in the mix and you can hear it clearly, it's gonna mess with the listener's head. He's gonna be, wait, what the fuck is going on? There's like this kind of beat and this kind of beat. So it's gonna be weird and it's gonna sound a bit strange. If you're going for that, sure, go ahead. But yeah, normally try to have it. What's cool to do as well is, whoop, wrong track. So you take your classic delay, and the 1/4 note for 90 BPM is about there. You can decide to unsync it and just go there by yourself and try to get it there so it's not exactly on beat. Maybe you want to do that. I just like syncing because it keeps clean. It keeps things clean, and you know, it's simpler like that. Speaking of keeping things clean, be sure to make yourself a template. Example. I'm gonna just delete this. Well, close everything. No, thank you. So instead of having, you know, doing like, okay, let's open a new multi-track, yes, and have this, and have to load all the different things like, okay, here's an EQ, blah, 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 loaded there, etc., etc. You can help yourself first by doing, let's say, for example, here's my template. So you have my drum track, so overheads, room, hi-hat, snare, toms, kick sub, the drums bus track, main vox, harmony vox, vox bus track, sorry, bass guitar, left guitar, right, clean guitar left, clean guitar right, lead guitar 1, lead guitar 2, synth lead, piano, strings staccato, horns staccato, and the 3 reverbs / delay, and the master track. So instead of having to create all those tracks every single time, especially if you're using sample drums and you know that it's going to be the same every single time, just make yourself a template like that. And if you have like an amp sim or whatever, just make yourself a project template. Even an X there. Yeah, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's somewhat different, but all basic things are there. So, you know, the sends are there, the routing is there, bus tracks, etc. It's the same basics. It's just in a different, with different visuals in a different format if you want. And so yeah, be sure to create yourself a template. It's going to save you a lot of time, and also save your presets. Example. You've been working for like half an hour for your snare EQ or whatever, and okay, I have it now, and you forget to save your project or whatever, and you don't want to, well, let's say you close a project, then you do another one, and you forget what it was. Well, first, you know, save your preset EQ as, let's say, snare or whatever, and then, oh, let's say, okay, I found the perfect compressor. It's going to be the same since I'm using sample drums or whatever, or you have an acoustic drum kit and you have your mics already placed up and they don't move at all. Sure, do that, and then just save your preset as, let's say, snare. Oops, snare. And that's it. So when you have a project that's empty, you don't have any tracks, and you know that there's going to be a snare, you just, you know, make a new track, say snare, test, whatever, and then boom, you have your preset there. You don't have to do anything else. And God bless. It took you 30 seconds, not even. Same thing goes for effects or whatever. If you like that drums reverb you had, like drums new, drums room, etc., etc. And you know, when you download this, the Keras audio package, there's a bunch of effects. These are not mine. Like the ones that I made are drums and drums new. That's it. That's all I did. All the rest of it is just there. It comes with it. And why do I have a drums new, you might ask, preset? That's because I may or may not messed around with Addictive Drums 2 and found a snare that I freaking love. It sounds way better than the one I used, which was the Black Velvet snare. It has a great sound, but it lacked like fatness. I don't know how to explain it. It sounds great. Let me try to, no, thank you. Let me try to get the one, Fight for Harmony. Boom. You're gonna have a sneak peek at the album. Even though this song is already out, it's not the same anymore. Different. Jesus Christ, so many comments. I'm gonna read them later. I heart react them all. So you've heard Fight for Harmony. Okay, let me actually make a comparison. Where's the one? There it is. It's gonna take a little while since everything is pre-rendering, and also pre-rendering will save your ass when you record things, because we don't have in real time, so it will do the effects in real time and everything, so it will destroy your RAM once again. So if you have everything pre-rendered, especially when you have a like 20 plus project, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and these are not always there. Some things come and go, but you know, it's about 20 tracks for my projects. But if you think you're for like 30 or 50 and plus, pre-render those tracks for the love of God if you can. Otherwise you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot, and it's gonna take a while, and when you record things there might be problems with it. It happened a lot in the past. I used to not pre-render anything and I regretted it all the time. So everything's almost pre-rendered. So let's take a listen to Fight for Harmony, the new version, real quick, and focus on the snare. Well, the drums in general. That's all you're gonna get. So, sure, we hear the snare, it's there, but in my opinion, this one, Jesus Christ, I love it. Alright, so get ready for this, my dudes. Also, the kick, I decided to drop it by a couple of semitones, and whew, makes it thicker and fatter and just massive. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me or I'm crazy or whatever, but listen for yourself. We're gonna take the same 40 seconds, so here we go. have any feedback because I absolutely freaking love the snare. And that kick though. And it's just, I don't know, I freaking love it. Just wow. Jesus Christ. This isn't a final mix, by the way. I'm still tweaking things around since I had to change some stuff in the drums. Because, just for example, the string staccato were freaking too loud here. But you get the idea. I actually made a little test because I may or may not be covering some Dream Theater stuff. And that's the one thing, you know, when I tried covering Dream Theater songs, that first of all, it's a real drum. So, you know, that's really just the one thing that makes it sound way better than a sample drums. Drum full mix and drum naked. Yes. So let's say it's not a full mix per se, it's just VSTs and stuff because I don't have my pedal right now, it's at college. But hey, listen to this full mix, quote unquote. And Drummer Shy, if you're still here and listening, tell me the snare doesn't sound similar to the one on 6 Degrees. Like, Jesus Christ. And finally, the drum on its own. I don't know, it sounds so much better than the one I used. Like, Jesus Christ. Let's see. I'm gonna drop this down a little bit. Whoa, stop. Yeah, it's just, I love it. And I had to redo all the snares for my album, but I'm almost done, so it took me like 30 minutes. That won't be a problem. Speaking of which, it's almost done. As you can see, this is one track. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, you might not have seen the image I posted, but where is it? It's on desktop. There we go. All these things, they're almost done. They all just need the vocals. And that's it. The 4 elements may or not. How do you choose synths? Well, do you mean just synthesizers, or like, for example, these things? Like all the orchestral stuff. Because normally, how do I choose synths? Well, first of all, if they're free, I'm gonna grab them. There's a website called Plugin Boutique, which has sometimes just deals that are insane. It's like, oh, 4 different VSTs for $1. Normally they're like $20. Well, okay, so both. So for the orchestral VSTs, you might want to look at my Let's Talk Orchestra video. Basically, it's a free library made by Versillion Studio Chamber Orchestra, I think. But they have a paid version, which is VSCO 2, and there's a VSCO Community Edition, which is free. And I mean, just listen to those strings. Like, listen to those horns, man. And it's free. I can't believe it. Like, you know, I tried using the Mixcraft strings and whatnot. They don't sound that great. That's the thing. And then, you know, I tried looking up, oh, orchestral VSTs. Most of them were crap. Or you had to pay like $300 for a library. So it was like, yeah, nah, I'm not gonna pay $300. I'm already broke. I can't afford that. So, I remember at one point I just Googled, like, because I remember seeing like samples and stuff, which like I downloaded the thing, and it was just a file with like a billion, well, just a folder with a billion of files. I was like, what the hell is this? And it was like 1 file per note. I didn't know what the hell it was. I was like, why the fuck would you want me to use a sample of each and every single note to make my melody? Screw that. I want something to make it for me. And so I looked, like, I googled something like how to use sample library and whatever, and then I saw SFZ player, something like that. I was like, okay, well, Orchestra SFZ, and I can't remember the name, but now it's, if you go on their website, it redirects you to the VSCO Community Edition. So, and yeah, I just was like, oh, okay, cool. I downloaded it with the SFZ player, and then my life was changed. Really, it just, for free. I was like, I could not believe this was there for free. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, this is too good to be true. Like, what the hell? You have to be kidding me. And yeah, and for other synths, there's this one called, did I talk about it in the first? Yeah, I talked about it in the first live stream I did of this series, which is, I can't remember the name of for the life of me. But the first streams, one of the first streams I did maybe a month or 2 ago, I talked about it, for all the synths. It's all in Mixcraft, really, because Mixcraft, there's a bunch of VSTs that come with it, and some of them are great. And the one that I really freaking love right now is, let me close everything here. Yes. And open Sesame, open Glass Prison, Synth Lead. Okay. So the one that I use is called Synth 1. It's free, again, and you can make your own. It's like a vintage sort of synth. The one that I showed in the song with like the drums, with not a full mix or whatever. So here's just the synth. And of course we need a solo, synth solo, because Dream Theater. Of course. New to these streams, so forgive me. Oh, it's all okay, dude. It's all good. All right, cool. If you go watch them, have fun, dude. If you're gonna go watch them. But yeah, the first one I really talk briefly about what softwares I use and different things that I use. So yeah, that's gonna be one you might want to watch because I do talk about Synth One and all VSCO and all that stuff. Yeah. So how do you choose synths? It's really how they sound. Yeah, I freaking love that one. I used a preset and modified a couple of things, and here's the thing. That's okay, sure, it sounds okay, just like that. Vintage, sort of solid. Now, here's the thing, because Jordan Rudess in Dream Theater, you know, he has a shit ton of keyboards, and here's the thing. I see a lot of keyboard players using guitar pedals on their keyboards, which was odd, but I've seen Jordan Rudess use a wah pedal on a keyboard as well as a distortion pedal. And I was like, you know what? It makes sense. Because in some of these solos, there's like a weird ass sound. I'm like, how the hell does he make that? It's not with the modulation. It's not with the modulation wheel. It's not with that. That's 100% sure. And so I looked up like live shows and I saw he had pedals on his keyboard and beneath it. I was like, oh, nice. So he used like a crybaby on his keyboard, which makes some really crazy ass sound. And is it this one? Oh yeah, there we go. So how to make a synth sound even more badass, especially for solo. This is Vox and Go Amp Simulator. Really basic thing, but it works great. So here's without the rack effect, which is just the amp sim. A compressor, because shit gets wild, and an EQ. So here's without. We're gonna take that solo right there. It's not too long, so. Oh yeah, and of course there's delay normally, but I'm not gonna do it now, so. And now here's with the effects rack. It is quite insane on its own, but let me load the project. Where is it? The glass prison. There we go. Oh yeah, and there's the gnarly synth, gnarly fucking pig, as they call him. It's basically a synth with like an I don't remember doping it. Yeah, that's the thing that Jordan Rudess goes for sometimes. It's like sometimes like I put some Dream Theater on, people like are like, oh shit, that's a nice guitar solo. What will firecrackers do in gasoline? I don't know. You tell me. But yeah, sometimes they're like, oh shit, that's a nice guitar solo. I'm like, no, that's a keyboard solo. They're like, what? No, that's not a keyboard. I'm like, yes, it is. You would not believe your ears, my dude. Well, since there's no guitar, it sucks, but whatever. Let's have it right there. With the drums and everything. Well, actually, fuck, I'm stupid. I'm a stupid boy. Stop right there. Close all. No, thank you. I'm such a dumbass. Should have just... Jesus Christ. Oh, no, wait. Ah, fuck. Wait, because I wanted the solo part, not the intro. That's why. Oop. Double bamboozle. Double bamboozle. Alright, we're here. Screw all of you. Screw all of you. Don't get pre-rendered, please. Just load. And yes, the song is almost 14 minutes long. It's Dream Theater. It's not even that long. Come on. Come on, my dude. That's the thing with having 13 minutes long songs. It's just so fucking long to load every single file. It's like, oh hey, I want my drum tracks rendered. Okay, that's gonna be 200 megabytes. Jesus fuck, okay, thank you. Oh, come on. Even if, like, the parts that I cut are silent, it still loads them. Okay. Screw you. Come on. Right. And this has flanger going on. If I just remove it, and we're gonna wait until everything loads because it's just lagging all over the fucking place. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. 2 things left. 2 things. Actually 3. Come on. Come on. Can do it. We're gonna get there. I swear to God. 1. Yeah, boy. Alright. So that's the one synth with just an EQ. And here's with the flanger. And now here's the synth solo. So is music creation most trial and error? A beginner level music creator never feel like to improve, but I guess it just absolutely it will take time to improve on a lot of things. If you want any tip on, first of all, improving your mixes and stuff like that, finding your tone, finding your drum sound, finding your synth, etc., etc. Start by doing covers, because one, you're gonna get your name out there someday by doing covers. You're gonna expose yourself and be like, hey, I exist, I do music. People will give you, will do constructive criticism, hopefully. Most of the times they'll be like, they won't bash on you because you're a beginner, unless you're a certain person. Which I won't talk about because it's a long story, but yeah, most of the time, if you ask for, like, try to join some Discord servers, try to join some Facebook groups, try to join a bunch of things, and post your music there, ask for criticism, ask for feedback. They'll tell you, you know, hey, your guitar, you should change that, you should EQ it that way, you should add compression, etc., etc. And so by doing covers, you're going to be able to, one, get your name out there and improve your mixes. And you're going to be able to also practice, etc., etc. And then once you're good at making covers, try to put your own twist to your covers. That's what, you know, got me a bit of popularity. It's like, oh, let's say a Discord cover I made. It was different. Same thing for the New Lunar Republic. Same thing for, you know, all those covers. People are like, hey, that's great. It sounds different than the original. That's what we like. We like something new, not hearing the same track, but in a different genre. So try to do covers, and then do covers with your own spin, your own touch, your own style, and then try to compose basic stuff, because you're not going to be able to write like an amazing piece of music instantly. It's going to take a while before you make like your magnum opus. For me, I think my biggest problem is getting 2 synth instruments to fit together. Yeah, that again, that will take some time too. I mean, just doing like a full orchestra is gonna take, especially orchestra. Orchestra is super complicated to get a hold of. It's really, but once you get used to it, and once you practice it enough, and once you get used to it and get a grip, you have fun with it, and it opens so many doors. But yeah, go for it, dude. Just do covers and then put your own twist to it, and then start composing. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be fucking, close to the edge by ES. It doesn't have to be that complex at first. You can be very simple stuff. Just a 4-chord song with a very simple melody and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be stuff like I'm playing right now. So don't worry about it. If you need criticism, there's plenty of musicians out there that will be able to help you and give you constructive criticism. So, as I was saying, here's the synth lead with all the distortion and all that stuff with the drums and everything, and it sounds beautiful. And there you go. That's real music. The fact is, there's not even a single real instrument in there. That's funny. But yeah, go ahead and have fun with that. And with that said, I'm gonna have to go very soon, now that I think about it. So thank you, Mr. Robin Nilsson, for joining. If you haven't already, please join the whatever army I have and subscribe. I don't have an army. I really don't. It's just a bunch of people who like my music, and we happen to like ponies as well. But yeah, thanks to everyone who joined. It was a very fun stream, even though it was very early in the morning. And with that said, I'll be going to my interview at the mornings. I'm so Canadian. And stay tuned for more music. A lot of it is coming out soon. Generosity is still in the works. I am just waiting for my friend to do the vocals for Eiley Munty's part, and some personal stuff got in there, so she didn't have the time to do it. But that's totally fine. Personal life before that, of course. But yeah, it should come out soon. So I'll subscribe. Hey, thank you, my dude. Or dudette, or whatever. Yeah, so this will be the end of stream. I'll see you guys soon. I don't know what next stream I'll do, because now I've done pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. So, no problem, brohoof, my dude. Or dudette, I don't know. No problem for the inspiration, and thank you for subscribing and joining whatever army I have. And just supporting. Yeah, thank you for the support. That's all really there is, because without the support I wouldn't be doing it. So maybe next stream I'll do some more drum playing or guitar playing. Yeah, maybe some guitar